This is Kaypacha with the weekly Pele report. It's kind of a day late because it's just been hell. Better late than never. Made it out here, down to the little creek. Watching that creek flow by a little bit. Chilling out with the Great Mother on October 13th, 2016. Yesterday the moon occulted Neptune. She is still in Pisces. Tomorrow she goes into Aries. And I'll tell you what, we are up for the full moon this weekend, okay, Saturday. She is going to come along and square Mars first, up there in Capricorn. Then she's going to square Pluto. And then she's going to come into her full illuminated glory. We have the full moon conjunct Uranus and Eris. So we have a sun opposite Uranus going on, all week. Uranus is the nervous system. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. Last week we had the sun square Pluto. This week we've got Mercury. First squares Mars today, like now, as I speak. And then on by Saturday, this weekend is going to be just like, whoa, baby, By Saturday, Mercury is going to come into a square with Pluto. And as you can see, like I said, Mars comes around. The moon comes around and hits Mars, and then it hits Pluto. Mercury comes around, squares Mars, squares Pluto. Well, what's that talking about? Mars conjunct Pluto. Oh boy, look out. Mars is the lower octave of Pluto. Okay, so these two have a lot in common. And the force of change and evolution. I'm going to talk about that when I'm looking at the camera. Just wanted to give you a shot of this massive bamboo cluster. Look at this thing. That thing is huge. I'm going to do the Pele report underneath the bamboo tree. Yeah? Absolutely huge, man. This is one of the biggest I've seen around here. Anyway, where the hell was I? But Mars is exactly conjunct Pluto next Wednesday. But let's face it, we're all feeling it right now, man. We're in the pressure cooker. Okay, so it's coming around next week, but it is, it's tight enough now. Give it an orb of a few degrees, and it's just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. Okay, until next Wednesday. And the last but not least thing I want to talk to you about today is the Great Attractor. I'm going to be posting some more about this Great Attractor. Up on Facebook and be talking about it for a little while. It is at 14 degrees 2 minutes of Sagittarius. And the planet Saturn, first went over that point direct last January 31st. Then it went retrograde May 22nd. And finally, just about time for Halloween in the States there, October 28th, Saturn comes back, to the third and final passing over the Great Attractor. I'm going to just tell you more about what that means right now. All right, it's a scoop here. There is so much going on now, I don't know where to begin. Well, speaking of the Great Attractor, I would like to attract you. I'm going to talk about shadow, and I just completed a 45-minute video on the shadow because last week I talked about Venus conjunct Black Moon Lilith. In Scorpio has a ton to do with shadow work, with projection, and with our fragmented, unaccepted, guilty, shameful parts of ourselves. and Sun, Mercury moving through Scorpio are going to sandwich Black Moon Lilith, yeah, on November 8th, just in time for the election. Talk about a shadow election in the United States. Oh my God. Yeah. So I'm doing a whole workshop on the shadow coming up here in November. And then I am going off to Thailand and doing a couple of workshops there. One in particular at the veranda on this a beautiful island. We're going to be looking at all of the aspects of 2017. I'd love to see you there. And with the relationships, I'm going to be doing another, it's more of an astrology for those of you that are really into your charts and the charts of partners. I'm going to be doing synastry and composite charts here in Costa Rica in January. So if you go to my website, newparadigmastrology.com, you can see all these workshops if you want to get more into your stuff. And of course, you can always go to astro.com, put in your birth time, date, and place, and have a copy of your birth chart for free. Then, when I do the Pele report, like this Mars-Pluto conjunction, today I was even thinking of, if I have enough time, taking it through the houses. Like, what house, is Pluto in for you right now? Well, and Mars coming around to Pluto, what house is this? Because the house is going to tell you where you're going to be feeling this energy. Yeah, that we're all experiencing, but we're all experiencing it in a different realm of life experience. And the houses give us, this realm or the stage or the area of life where we are deeply transforming right now, because Pluto is about deep transformation. So you can take this Pele report, which is like an overall general perspective, and really attune it, okay, to your own life story, your own decisions, your own needs, your own relationships, job, family. I mean, you can really, astrology is amazing, man. And so the point behind these Pele reports is to get everybody on planet Earth into astrology. So there's my talk on that. I want to be the great attractor to astrology. Yeah. The oldest of the occult art sciences. Yes. Now, as to what that says about this week, and about what's going on and what's coming on. Yeah, okay. I want to talk about this great attractor. I was just reading about it yesterday. I'll put the link to Philip Sedgwick's website, where he talks about the great attractor. It will be in the notes. I'll put a bunch of links in the notes below the Pele report today if you want to do some further investigation and research on the great attractor. It's really hard to comprehend and understand, and even the astronomers and the astrophysicists do not really know what the hell this thing is. We know that the galactic center is at 26 degrees, okay, of Sagittarius, and that's a black hole. And it's kind of drawing, okay, all of the stars in our galaxy, okay, like billions of stars in our galaxy, towards it and kind of sucking us all in. But just imagine the great attractor at 14 degrees of Sagittarius is taking a river of galaxies, over 65 galaxies, and it's slurping them up like Slurpees, like a great waterfall of galaxies. Billions of stars, okay, just kind of going down the throat of the great attractor. It's not a black hole, because it bends light around and you can see behind it and see the back of it. A black hole, light disappears. So this is not a black hole, but at the same time, it's like this huge magnetic pole force drawing and swallowing everything in existence towards it. And so Saturn coming over, okay, the great attractor, January, May, and now October, okay, if we are not feeling this time period of kind of an inevitability, or where there's a certain feeling of fate, okay, there's a certain feeling of helplessness or hopelessness, or I can't control, or life is too big for me, or my life is just like going down this freaking river, you know, no matter what I do, say, want, desire, dream, whatever, I'm just like, I mean, we can all be feeling this kind of inevitability. And this inevitability is largely about, it's interesting that both the Galactic Center and the Great Attractor are both in Sagittarius, which has to do with natural laws that govern all existence and an expansion of consciousness so that we can grasp greater and greater meaning, greater and greater truth, understanding the purposes and the, the realities in greater and greater visions, broader circles of understanding. So what we can say is that this great attractor and this black hole in the center of the galaxy, they're drawing us in. And it's almost like when you feel, like you are getting flushed down the toilet, okay, or you are getting sucked into everything, you become awakened, you become more aware, you become, like you feel like a loss of liberty or a loss of freedom or a loss of identity or a loss of my path or my truth or, my focus, or I can't even think straight today, or blah, blah, blah. You feel this kind of like, and it frickin' wakes you up. Are we not all getting awakened? Fear. Like when you're afraid, like your nervous system, like what's coming up with this full moon this weekend, yeah, Uranus is the nervous system, conjunct Eris, the goddess of discord, and then the moon is going to come around with my feeling emotional nature, and opposed by the sun. This is really a time not of just the great attractor, but the great awakening. This is why I'm calling 2017. Jupiter is going to come up and oppose Uranus throughout most of 2017. The end of illusion. It's time to wake up. And it's not always pretty or easy to see what is around us and what unconscious fears, desires, shame, guilt, emotions, past patterns and programming have been driving our bus, driving our life, driving our vehicles, our bodies, our egos. Our egos are at the mercy, okay, of much greater subconscious and unconscious desires, motives, and fears. And that's what your birth chart is, a map of your unconscious. So if you want to know what's really driving the bus, baby. I can't help it, man. Gotta do this plug for astrology. You are your own best astrologer. Don't listen to me, man. Just check out this shit and do it yourself. And you'll have a even better perspective. Now, so Saturn, Lord of Karma, maturity, growing up, becoming aware of my limitations, becoming aware of wanting to restructure and reform my truth or my belief or my future goals. This is, and we have to do this now, not just for ourselves, and not just for me and my sweetheart, and not just for maybe me and my family, and not just for me and my community or neighborhood or school or whatever. No. This great attractor is saying open up and wake up to the greater, to like the whole planet, planetary consciousness, all of human consciousness, future generations of kids and animals and wolves and eagles and deers and fish and whales, yeah? It's like, would you like wake up and see the interconnectedness of all nature? This is a lot of, so that when we set our goals, and what we're doing for jobs and income, and it's not about building up my personal bank account and my little personal this and that. We got to get over it. We got to get beyond it, and really start co-creating, or we're screwed. Yeah, I mean really. And these elections, okay, let me get into these elections a little bit, because this is the shadow. And what is the shadow? Okay, the shadow is basically, okay, negative feelings that I have about myself that I hide because I'm ashamed of myself, or I'm guilty. I feel guilty about having this desire or this attraction or this fault, or I think this is a weakness, or this makes me look bad or stupid or dumb or blah, 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 blah. So it's like I don't want people like, I don't go to a party and announce that, I'm broke, lonely, miserable, pointless, thinking of ending it. I mean, it's like, most people, hide. You bury this kind of stuff, you suppress it, okay? And then we go to the party, okay, or we meet new people, or we apply for the new job, or we want to get a promotion, and we're dressing up, man. We're looking good. We're looking as good as we can, and putting our best foot forward, putting the best face out there. Well, this inside stuff that we don't show to anybody, maybe even our most intimate sexual partners, maybe our spouses, we can still be not even saying or hiding stuff from the closest, from our kids or from our parents or from our best friends. There's still maybe just this little something in there, little something back there, little something that, I just don't want to really look at that or deal with it or talk about it or get anybody's opinion about it or have anybody see it or blah, 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 blah. This is the shadow. And this shadow doesn't disappear, it doesn't go away, it hangs out and it molds and festers and starts to stink and rot. And we project this out onto other people. Yeah? We see this out in the world. And this is so appropriate now because, we have such an election joke going on. Okay? Talk about false faces and outright liars. Okay, if it's not about emails or taxes, it's about, just who I am and what I'm doing and what I want, so this whole, it's in our face every day, okay, how much bullshit is being spread around in the disguise of being truth. It's like, cut it out. How dumb. Are we being taken for idiots? I don't know. That's why I came to Costa Rica anyways, get out of that mess. But I want to go on with this because Jupiter's moving through Libra, okay? And, the Libra has to do with expansion and opportunity and joy and growth and evolution through partnership and through relationship. So this is very interesting, right? Okay? Because what this is saying is that it is through our intimate partners and relationships, and this is, Black Moon, Lilith, and Scorpio, where our closest partners show us our shadows. They show us, like we do Freudian slips, or there's times where this unconscious stuff just kind of gets splurted out or burped or, accidentally, we get outed, we get seen by those who are super, super close to us. If we let people get super, super close to us, and Jupiter in Libra is saying this is a year of helping You know, like we expand and grow through getting people close to us and opening and taking that risk of exposure, of communicating, of listening to external mirrors. Okay, it's like, you know, our partners in relationships mirror back to us, okay, you know, some of our unconscious stuff. And it's not easy, it's not pretty, you know, to look at our weaknesses or our faults or our, you know, fears or, what we did, our actions, okay, that were not up to the ideal standards that we set for ourselves or we told the other that we were. This is also business partnerships. Libra is also open enemies. Jupiter is big, like big and powerful open enemies. I don't want to go there yet, but we can see that, you know, the evolution of and the future transits, you know, over the next few years are looking like more intense and more powerful and more deep. Deep transformation. So let's look at this Pluto conjunct Mars, because it's in Capricorn. And Capricorn is the persona or the mask that I show the world, the boss, the employer, the external authority, whether it's my mother or my father or, you know, who's ever running the orphanage or the hospital. You know, it's like, this is my, you know, this is, you know, my elder, my together being, as together as I can pull myself. And the Pluto polarity point, which is the evolution of human consciousness at this point, is in Cancer, along with the north node of the planet Pluto is in Cancer, which is this inner feeling child and my personal inner truth. So all I can say is that, you know, this is a time with the great attractor, with Lilith, in Scorpio, okay, with Mars coming around to Pluto. Mars and Pluto, okay, Pluto is the force of evolution that wants to end and kill off, like Kundalini energy, kills off that which is not essential, not you, not me, not my core. Mars is the sword, the scalpel, the machete that's going to come in and cut the cords of the past. It's going to cut me out of my job. It's going to cut me away from, you know, my fears. It's going to make me, this is a time, okay, where we need to really, you know, stand and take off the mask. I should have my frickin' anonymous mask again, man. For this report. Oh God, I forgot it. Too perfect. This is a time of stripping off the false mask and exposing my whole truth. It's like we can't love ourselves wholly, fully, and completely, okay, you know, unless we are comfortable with showing it. And then that shows that, you know what, I'm not afraid of who I am. I mean, this is probably easier for Aries than anybody else. You know, like what you see is what you get. This is just like what I am. Duh, bah. Take it or leave it, you know, in your face. It's great. But this is also this full moon happening in Aries. So this weekend can be a time when you compulsively or impulsively, like, blurt out or show your true colors. And, you know, you feel, you know, Pluto is the soul and Mars is desires that emanate from the soul. So these are like deep, powerful, obsessive, compulsive needs and desires. And we're going to, so this is a weekend of really seeing your shadow. You know, and when people like piss you off or, you know, bark at you or, you know, it's like, oh, wow, look at it. The other aspect of it is what? Very often, Pluto will bring in Plutonian types of people. Mars Pluto is going to bring in warriors, maybe enemies, Maybe people that are famous or big deep pockets or just intimidating or are seductive and, just want to like, draw you or control you or manipulate you. And it's just like, you know what? This Mars Pluto is saying you better stand firm, stand tall. Maybe you need to use your anger. Maybe you need to find deeper guts, okay, to tell these people to get lost and get out of my face and get out of it. I mean, it's like, you know what? Very often it's a test. This is a test, We are being tested, Where are your guts? Yeah? Where's your juice? Where's your kundalini? Where's your power? And sometimes we only discover it through adversity. Sometimes we only discover it through emergency. Sometimes we only discover it, when the freight train is coming and it's going to run us down. We turn into Superman and stop the freight train. Giving away my age there a little bit. Oh God. So it's intense. Don't be afraid of intensity. Get more intense yourself. Find your intensity, yeah, to deal with and face the intensity. This is part of waking up out of the dream, out of the illusion, out of the sleep. Taking the wheel of the bus, okay, from my subconscious, unconscious, inner child or fears or whatever, and saying, bam, I gotta grow up, wake up, take charge, take control. I think I had a mantra a couple of weeks ago, it's time. This is Capricorn, and Mars moving through Capricorn now hitting Pluto is like big medicine. And Mercury's squaring it all, and then the sun squaring it, and then the moon coming around and squaring it. Okay, this would say, try not to overdo it. Don't be one of the assholes that is dominating, controlling, manipulating. Don't become an angry volcano that's just going to blow up and, have my way. And knock your partner out of the driver's seat and take over their bus. So you gotta kind of do this Libra thing, right? Where, you're not putting up with too much shit, but then you're not passing out too much either, right? This is where we come into this Jupiter and Libra. So tread these waters carefully, and momentous, powerful changes can come as a result of owning your power, taking responsibility, making the change, being a force of change. It can really be a good time of people power, of personal power, where we just yeah. Oh, God. Oh, the mantra. Behind the face I show the world, there is another me. The more these two unite as one, the more truly free I will be. No. Shit. The more I will be truly free. Jesus. These things come to me in the middle of the frickin' night by the time I wake up. The more I'm truly free. The more I'm truly free. Let's try it again, man. Yeah, thanks. Behind the face I show the world there is another me. The more these two unite as one, the more I'm truly free. It takes a lot of energy to suppress. It takes a lot of you become paranoid, you become, withdrawn, you start trying, you have to think about what you said and what you didn't say, and what they know and who they know and what they don't, and what they and what you don't, and what you're hiding, or what, I mean, this is like energy draining and consuming. You see that? Suppression takes it robs you, it dissipates your energy, and then you run out. So the more the less you are hiding, okay, the more you are just like, okay, man, I guess, like, this is me, or this is whatever, and maybe I don't know this, and I don't have the answer for that, and I'm going to fail at that or whatever, but I'm going to be blah, blah, blah. And the more you're just like there, transparent is what they call it. Authentic is another word for it. Actually, the more energy you have, because you're not spending all kinds of energy, trying to manipulate or manage, life as much. Your ego, it just like gets to go on vacation a little more. So you see, and then that frees you up. Yeah, and then of course you can just like go, oh wow, and you just express this and this desire and that want, and you're more liberated. The more that these two, the inner and the outer, come into one. Cool, huh? I mean, I think it's cool. So let's try it again, see if I remember it. Shit, I set the timer because I didn't want to run out of film on this sucker. Damn it, now. Behind the face, I show the world there is another me. The more these two unite as one, the more I am truly free, or the more I'm truly free. May you unite your persona or your mask with your true identity, that the two may become one, and you may live in harmony with yourself, the other, and nature. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.